Welcome to the Team Builder Show, where the most successful team leaders share how to build, scale, organize, and ultimately maximize your sales team results. Hey, welcome to the Team Builder Show. We're going to unpack a husband and wife team that have literally in the last 5 years built 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different companies and figure out how they did it and how in the world are they still married and happy and this good looking. So Galen and Sergio, welcome to the show. Super excited to have you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Love it. You
amazing.
flew in from Southern California to be here. That means the world to me. So first of all, can we just unpack? So Galen Callahan, top of the morning, right? Like Brian Buffini right now is like, my people, right? And Sergio Gonzalez, you didn't take the last name, but you guys been married for how long?
For 13 years this year.
Yeah,
and how many kids?
5.
5.
We have 5 girls.
5 girls.
5 girls.
Only girls, yeah.
5 businesses. You have 10 children. That's how I count it.
Pretty much. Yeah, no, seriously, that's basically.
So the theme of the show is like the rise of the entrepreneurial agent.
Yeah.
Right. So let's give people some context and background. So Galen, how long in the business?
Yep.
How long in the business is? What did you do before all of this came together the last 5 years?
So we actually met because I was a realtor. I started out in Santa Monica. I got licensed around 2006.
Yeah.
So I was selling on the west side, Malibu.
Yeah.
He was with Countrywide at the time.
Right.
My office.
Good old Countrywide.
Mr. Mazzillo.
Right.
My office had a lending division, so he would service the lending side.
Sure.
A few years later, we had a mutual friend. He had started his own mortgage company.
Yeah.
Our company had shut down.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, you can hang your license with us.
Yeah.
In the mortgage company.
Yes, in the mortgage company.
Is this how you picked up on girls?
Basically, she slept her way to the top.
All right, show's over. That's how you do it. All right, so we officially said
There's
slept your way to the top. There it is.
That's how I got here, Tom.
I'm gonna
okay,
drink
if you're
water.
audio only, this is definitely one of those moments you want to go, maybe I need to go to YouTube and check this out. Okay, so Serge, you so give us your professional background so we get a little
So
context,
kind of
and
like
we're gonna get into the weeds.
Yeah. So like Galen said, I started off in the mortgage side of the business. I was in wholesale.
Yeah.
Back in subprime days, companies just kept closing, and I was like, you know what? I'm tired of being held to someone else's control of what was happening with my destiny. I'm over here busting my butt, making relationships, crushing it, and then we're closing. And that's when I say, you know what? I'm going to start my own mortgage company. Back then.
What year was that?
That was 2006 when everything was closing.
Ooh,
right.
Crazy.
So
crazy timing.
But one of the niches I found was nobody was FHA approved back then.
Wow.
So I got that license, and then I basically went to all my clients, and I'm like, oh, you don't have that license? You don't have that license?
Yep.
You need to start working with me.
Right. Meaning all the lenders were your clients, right? So you're bringing them over like, I got the FHA approval here in California. That's big.
So
how did you get that?
I applied. And took, you got to apply, you got to go through the steps, the processes, right? And you got to find the people that can help you get licensed. And I had a great run all the way through 2010. And then Dodd-Frank, came in and squished everybody.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, watched a few Tom Ferry videos. I'm like, you know what, honey? I'm going to be a realtor starting January 1st, 2011.
Like, hey, I was in that business.
That's what you have to do.
Okay, so at this point, how many kids you guys have? 2011?
We had
how many
2.
do we have? I think we were pregnant, or I was pregnant with the second one.
Yeah, I think we're on number 2.
Okay, all right. So on number 2, and you're jumping into resi.
Yeah,
you were in resi. So were you like, what are you thinking?
Well, when he said he was gonna sell houses, I mean, I just had known him from the mortgage aspect, and he was always out visiting clients, running around. So that I hadn't quite been able to picture him making that shift.
Yeah.
He goes, no, I'm going to go sell some houses.
Honestly, like coming from the mortgage side, right? It was like, these realtors are dumb. I'm like, they don't know how to hold a deal together. They don't even know how to read appraisals or a prelim or any of the, we're the ones that when the problems happen, we're fixing it. And then after I got my license and watched your videos, I was like, shit, this is a lot harder than I thought. You're the marketer, you're the lead gen, you're the accountant, you're the
relationship management,
you're the relation, you're
brand,
everything.
Right? When you're on the lender side,
you had everybody in-house
processes and people and automation. But
Yeah.
like, that's the beauty of the residential real estate business. Like it truly is the rich and the rest. The people that figure it out kill it. And there's a lot of people that never sell any houses.
Right.
Yeah.
So you clearly figured it out. So before we want to get into all these unpacking of businesses.
Yeah.
So before all this began, when did you start SG Associates? Like when did you go independent, like your own brokerage?
In 2015 is when we went independent.
Yeah.
So when I became an agent in 2011, that was in Santa Barbara when we were living in Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
And I became Rookie of the Year there. FSBO expired,
whatever it took,
right?
Started.
We didn't know anybody there.
We didn't know anybody.
We just moved
no
there.
sphere,
No sphere. No.
Yep.
Nobody.
Yeah.
And there was like mental blocks I had to get through there, right?
For sure.
New area.
Right.
And then working through our marriage there at the same time. Like there was a lot of change happening. It's like new career, new marriage, new this, new that.
Yeah.
And
couple new babies.
New babies, right?
That all sounds easy.
Yeah.
We'll run that first 2 years.
So
do you almost have like a nervous tick there? Like
every time we talk about year one.
Yeah. It's like PTSD.
Yeah.
Right. But and then I got a call from a wholesale lender.
Yeah.
And they said, hey, you know what? We know you crushed it back in the day.
Yeah.
We'll pay you a stupid amount of money if you come back.
Yeah.
But you got to move closer to LA.
Yeah.
And, real estate career's just taking off, but I'm grinding.
Yeah.
Right. I did 13 houses that first year.
Yeah.
I'm looking at her. I'm looking at the babies, and I'm like, what's the responsible thing to do? What's the safe thing to do?
Yeah.
What's the, I got to make sure everybody's good. I'm like, I can do that in my sleep. I used to do that in my sleep from home.
Right.
And so I took the safe route. I took the job. We moved closer to Westlake and crushed the year, like I said they would. And then a year later, they're like, oh, you guys are making too much money. We're going to cut your pay, but we want you to do more. And I was like, I remember why I left this.
This is exactly
Damn
corporate
it.
America. Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
We raised the standard.
Yes. So I remember why. So at that point, that's when I said, you know what? Knowing what I know now, having been an agent in Santa Barbara, I'm going to just bring that skill set to this new area. Yeah. And I already had been in coaching at that time. So I just took everything that I learned. I was like, you know what? I think I can just do this on my own at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
So then it made sense.
Right.
I'm going to start my own thing.
Correct. I had playbooks to run.
Right.
I had skills. I had, it wasn't like I was a new agent like I was back then. So from there, it kind of just took off. Yeah.
So at the peak with SG Associates prior to starting, well, actually, let's just go. You start the new company. What was the first ancillary business you started and why?
So the first one was the escrow. So we were looking at.
So for the people that are listening that are like Texas left, west.
All right. So closing title services.
States, right? So title closing services.
Title closing services in California, they split them into two different services.
Southern California,
right? Because Northern California
is title closing, right? Title escrow combined.
Exactly. So we were looking at the size of listings that I was doing. Right. My average list price at that point was like 2.8. And we started off with a DRE escrow originally, right? Which means you can only do your own deals. You cannot take outside deals. Once we kind of got our feet wet with that, we're like, you know what? Maybe we should take this to the next step in getting licensed with the DBO. Now it's the DFPI, whatever.
It's like the state, essentially.
It's like the state. And that kind of made me put back on my wholesale relationship hat, right? Because I had a lot of lender friends, a lot of real estate friends that it's like, hey, if I open this company, would you support it? Like, would you give me a shot? Provide good service, of course. And it kind of just built and took off, from there. And that was the first one.
So that was 2016. Okay, so all right, so 2015 you start the new company. 2018 you launch your first ancillary service. For the context for the people that are listening, whether audio or video, who runs the brokerage, who runs escrow, and then we'll get into all the other ones.
We're doing a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Both of us are doing a little bit in each. Well, he's doing the majority of the rainmaking in the real estate company, right?
Sure.
I handle all the stuff that he doesn't like. I handle compliance, I audit files, I handle agent problems, brokerage problems, that kind of thing, licensing. For escrow, I handle audits, employees, and then a little bit of rainmaking. But
good.
Yeah, operations.
Right. I mean, that's it's so interesting. Like if my wife was here, she'd be like,
yes.
she'd be hitting me going,
Yes.
yeah, that's what I do. Like Tom just goes out there, hey, you know, right? Like,
pretty much.
So
she's like, and then I'm like, hey, is it all organized?
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on back there?
This should just be called the Keeping It Real show.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of, run the back office, go out and be the rainmaker.
Yep.
So you start the escrow company, and like, how many escrows did you guys close that year? How many transactions did you close that year? First year.
That year,
That was under the DRE deal, so that was just yours.
Yeah, the DRE. I mean, that was like we were only doing 48 deals a year, so it wasn't a lot, but it was extremely profitable because it was just me. And
it's like a $5,500 transaction fee on top. But of course, all the work associated with it.
Right.
Escrows,
of course.
Very important.
And then by that December, because that was in June of 2018, I think, the DRE. And then by December, we had been licensed by the DBO.
Right.
Got it.
Yep.
So really quick turn.
Yeah.
Six,
We're like,
7 months, you're like, okay, we got to blow this up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So give us context for 2021. How many real estate transactions did the company do? And then how many escrows did you guys close last year?
So the escrow, we did 1,200 escrows last year, averaging 5,500 on our sale and roughly 550 on a refi, which, the refi market is gone right now, right? So you have to pivot, you have to make adjustments and start going. You either have to get, if you had 10 loan officers giving you deals, now you need 20. You need 30. So you're either going to scale that or start attacking more of that purchase money transaction.
Yeah. Okay. So at what point did you say, gosh, 5 daughters, 2 businesses, let's start another one?
We need more.
Right. We don't have enough on our plate, honey.
Yeah, exactly.
So what did you start next?
Okay. Well, here, your question, I always go back to the question you always ask or you're always commenting, which is, what are you building?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Do I want to be the agent that is, I'm on my last leg and I'm like, open house, or like for sale sign? No, I'm trying to build a legacy and opportunity for our girls that if they want to step into that, or there's a cash flow being able to support, them and us, in our later years. I mean, that's what it's really for at the end of the day.
Yeah. So give us and I appreciate that, right? I mean, so many we'll get into this later. It's like, what's the purpose?
Right.
Like, we all work so hard. Like, why are you really doing this?
Right.
You know what I mean? Especially when, I wish my wife was here, because like the husband and wife dynamic of like, you're laying there in bed and you're like, hey, baby. And she's like, what's happening right now in the accounting department? Well, no.
Actually, I don't.
Tell me more.
Yeah. And then I just go to her and I'm like, Tom says we should start this. And she's like, I don't know. I'm like, well, I already filed the paperwork. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See,
usually if it's a question, it's already happening.
It means it's already going.
Yeah.
I think we should get a Rolls Royce. Oh my God, run in the garage.
Wait a minute.
Pretty much.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't go too super blind.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got SG and Associates, the real estate company. You start the escrow company.
Yeah.
But then you got title. And then you got to describe, what is 805 Life?
So 805, okay, well, I'll start with 805 Life because that's an easy one. So 805 Life was really just...
And what is 805 for the people that have no idea?
So 805 is our area code. Yeah. There's a lot of love, and it's a really community-driven around that. There's a beer, 805
beer. I mean, I've seen it on the freeway. I've been there, right? Like,
and with some of the fires and the travesties that have happened there, they really were like, oh, we love the 805. We love it. We're like,
it's like Calabasas to like Paso and beyond, right? It's a huge chunk of the central coast of California is 805. It's a big market.
Yeah. And so people really gravitate and they're proud to be associated with that. We're like, we're going to incorporate that into our brand. And then we created a charity around that, so where we kind of raise funds to then give to other local 805 charities as well. So it's cool. A win-win there.
Yeah. So that's 805 Life is the 805 Life. Charity.
Yeah,
and then
805 Escrow.
So we have 805 Escrow, and then the property management. Another thing you said we should do. So I was like, okay, I'll do that too.
He's coachable.
He is coachable. Yes. He is.
And so one of the other coaching members who's here, shout out to Lee Arnold. He helped set that up with me, right? Because because you say, well, you need to have 100 doors. I'm like, well, I don't have 100 doors. How am I going to make this happen and be profitable?
Right. Well, that was the key. There's a number that you get to that makes it make sense for the employees and the staff and the time and
right.
Yeah.
And so he helped me set that up, and that's been really profitable. I'm just like trying, how many more can we do?
Right.
And so we have doors all in the 805, right?
Yeah.
So Santa Barbara, Westlake, all around. And we do that with just one assistant. I just followed his model.
Yeah.
So that works. So we just kind of keep growing that.
And do you find in the property management business, do you find that you get listings from that you meet investors from that? You also, like that's the other thing that people miss. I'm like, the early days of property management for me was during like the 2007, 8, 9, 10, my clients in Phoenix, Arizona, they're like, hey, the only stuff that's being bought is these REO companies. And I'm like, well, let's figure out how we can get a relationship with them. Yeah. Because if they're going to buy them, they're going to hold them, and someone needs to manage the property management. They're like, oh, and all of a sudden they're running 3 and 4 and 500 units. Yeah. And then guess who got the listings when it was time to turn?
Yep. Right. Yep.
Right. So they made money, and they would give it to their brand new agents and say, I'm going to have you manage these properties. Yep. So now the new agents were making money on rentals. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. It actually became kind of an interesting vehicle.
Yeah. Right? Once you have all these little racehorses ready to go, you start seeing how they intersect each other. Right. Right. So the property management, yes, we've gotten listings from that. We're meeting people that are like, hey, I'm not ready to buy. I just kind of want to go test it out a little bit and get a sense. So having that relationship already there. Yeah. And then if they do need to sell, we're doing the escrow. Yeah. Right. And then we're doing the real estate side, and then now with the title. So it all just kind of gets bundled together. Yeah.
So the whole game today is full service, right? And you could argue the whole game today, the whole game for the last 2 decades has been full service real estate, right? That's the flywheel. Mm-hmm. Whoever generates a client, then you basically walk them through every one of those services, and as long as you provide all the right services, the consumer wins. Yeah. So you look at what Zillow's doing now with the super app, right? And a bunch of people that are like, like a lot of brokers, like big shots like William Ravis Company, like in the Northeast, like they've been doing this for 35 years. Yeah. Right. So there's a lot to unpack there, but I want to get to this. So when does it, and I'm going to you, when does it actually make sense for a team to start looking at this stuff?
For us, it was really, because we don't have a huge team, the brokerage is not large. So for us, it was, okay, his sales are growing. He's doing high price points. Okay, what are we going to do with this money? Right. So that was really our turning point was, okay, we have the funds. How do we want to invest this and where? Right. So I think for some teams, it's going to be based on units or volume. Yes. I think for our case, it was really, okay, what are we going to do with this money we made? Yeah. And how are we going to go make more? This? Yeah. Exactly.
And then it'd be hard to argue also because of your relationships and Mr. Social Butterfly over here.
Yes.
By the way, listen to this. He's like, hi, I'm Sergio. And,
hence why I have
playing
5 girls.
Piano tonight. Oh, yeah. Well, there's that. So also, do you think some of this was predicated on the fact you've got all these relationships forever that you were able to call, and they were like, oh, you were my wholesale guy. Yeah. And now you're calling and saying, hey man, I got an escrow company, and you work those relationships.
Totally. Right. We're in a relationship business. Right. We're going to go with people that like us, trust us, and will take our advice. Right. And know that we're going to take care of them. So I think it was the same approach, but you have teams that are either buying buildings, they are buying units, they're doing all these other things. And for me, I was like, I want more cash flow to, grow our lifestyle and also be able to do the things we want to do, send our kids to the school that they want to go to. Yeah. I have 5 girls. Are you shitting me? Like, do you know how much that's going to cost me?
Yes.
Right?
So I have 2 boys. Thank you.
So I was like, I need to make a lot of money, right? Yeah. And so I needed to create additional revenue streams was on my list. Yeah. So
I literally just talked to Treasurer Davis about this today. She's like, I have to do well with my girl. I'm like, I get it. Yeah. Okay. So let's go a different direction. Yeah. How do you manage all the multiple businesses? How do you keep, you got 5, I can't even do it. I only got 4. Look at, sure. Right. You got all this stuff that you're juggling. Mm-hmm. How do you manage your time? How do you manage your focus? What's your management methodology? Help us understand.
Well, I get that question like, you have 5 kids and how do you do it
all?
Right.
Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, and 5 kids.
Yeah.
6.
He's the largest child.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
But I tell people I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. It is not possible. There are things you're going to forget. There are things you're going to mess up on. And I think having the mindset that you can have it all and do it all is not realistic, right?
Yeah.
So it's really looking at, okay, what is the most important thing I have to do today? Well, yeah, get my kids dressed, make sure they get to the right school.
Yeah.
And then I think it's really just making it rain, like that's what's going to keep your business going, right? Sometimes I'll walk in my office, she's, why are you in the office? Well, I have to catch up on emails, or I'm finishing an audit.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't move the needle, right? Yes, those things need to be done. So I think he's really stronger at that than I am, because I do handle more operations, and sometimes that can kind of be a hole you get stuck in.
I'll tell you how it gets done, Tom. Instacart.
Oh, that's true.
Live-in nanny.
Thank you.
Yes.
But
that's a huge piece of it. Is I think something that I'm really good at is knowing what I'm not good at.
She's an expert Instacarter.
Yes. I know I can't grocery shop. I Instacart it. I know that I'm not a great accountant. We have great CPAs. We have great auditors. So I think that's been a big piece of it too, is finding those key players.
See, I don't know if you listened to my interview with Kirsten Jordan. Big shout out to Kirsten. She's the $1 million listing rock star in New York City. And I was like, Kirsten, how do you do it all? Like, how are you super mom, 3 kids, married, and she's like, I outsource everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's like I don't understand how these women can
100%.
say, and like, I'm not female, so there's no, like, I'm saying what she said on the interview. Like, I'm not that stupid as a guy, right? Like, but she was like, I just have to.
Yep.
She's like, you can be a badass woman and run a very successful business, and you can be a great mom, and you just, but you can't do it alone.
You can't.
Running the household is another business.
For sure.
So you got
CEO of the home.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you got to have the people that help make your life easier. Like, when we come home, we don't want to be cleaning the kitchen or doing dishes. We want to come and play with the kids. We want to do their homework. We want to hear about their day. I don't want to have to come and deal with, is the laundry done? Is the laundry, is dinner ready? Like, that's not where we want to spend our time.
Yeah.
So I think once we came into alignment on where we want to spend our time and everything else, we can just write a check for at that point.
Yeah.
And I think that's, shekels for time, as you said, right?
Right. Time for money for time. So how about the management side? We got to be mindful because we try and keep these shows relatively short, but you two are such ham bones. Like, this is going to be very easy to go for like 3 days. How do you, talk about the management team you installed to do all this stuff, or am I looking at the management team?
Well, I think there's different components, right? So we have a legal team.
Yeah.
You got to have good attorneys.
Right.
You got to have good CPAs. You got to have good HR. And so those things we're not involved. We just went and go find the best people to do that so that we're left with either making it rain and culture in the office.
Right.
Do you like the coffee that we have? You want the snacks you got, right?
Yeah.
The number one complaint about the real estate office is he doesn't have snacks. In escrow, we're overflowing with snacks.
For sure.
So it's a big part of the culture at escrow.
Right.
Is
No, I know.
If you're eating,
you walk
can't
in a good bank. A good bank always has great cookies.
Right.
Right. It's just automatic. You don't have cookies, I can't bank it.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we, through trial and error too. Our escrow officers and our escrow managers have just been incredible people to work with, incredible support, have taught us things we didn't know, right? Neither one of us are escrow officers. And I think that's been advantageous for us because we look at it from a broker perspective. We know what gets you yelled at as an agent with your clients, or why is the lender upset? Yeah. But putting those escrow officers in place, we have actually an all male escrow office, which is highly unusual.
I don't think I've ever heard that ever.
I know, but I always make a joke.
All male.
It's women owned, so everything's under control.
So we know at least it's run well.
Yes.
Okay, so being mindful of time, if we recapped here, the vision was I want to build something for my family.
Yeah, it still is,
Right? And if you want to build something for your family and do it with your spouse, you got to have shared vision.
Yeah.
Right? Even when the vision is, guess what I came home with today?
Yes.
An escrow company. Right? Honey, how do you feel about? But that clearly shows the yin and yang of your partnership and how you guys work together, right? You've been able to make this happen. And then it was just ancillary services, one at a time. And the one that we could probably do an entire show on is just 805 Life, right?
805
so the fact
title,
that it's wrapped, but it's also wrapped in this charity, right? Like, all of this is about doing good, being good, and then clearly hiring the right people.
Yes.
Is that a fair statement?
That is huge.
That's the most important thing, is hiring the right people, because the wrong people can certainly get you in trouble, and cause damage.
Cause a lot of money.
Mortgage, on title, on escrow. We're talking serious money.
Everything, right? Across any
problems,
business, right?
any
Whether
business.
because I think a lot of people, oh, that's risky, right?
Yeah.
Starting a brokerage is risky. Starting property management is risky. Starting escrow is risky. Title is risky. Life is risky. Getting married is risky.
Yeah. Having a baby is risky.
Having a baby is risky. You know,
driving on the freeway in Dallas, risky.
Well, risky.
Listen to my team. They're like, welcome to NASCAR.
Yeah.
It's called the 75.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So I think you just have to commit.
So if somebody wanted to reach out to you guys and connect and say, okay, tell me more about this and how'd you do it? I mean, you've been in the community for a long time, our ecosystem, you guys share a lot. What's the best way? Where do they find you, on Instagram or something like that?
Yeah, you can definitely reach out to me on Instagram, Sergio Gonzalez at 805. And then Galen, she's on
I'm on Instagram.
She's on Instagram. Do you
Hold
know,
back
do
here.
you know your own
Hold back
handle?
here.
Galen Callahan.
Just
Hence why I'm the Rainmaker, Tom.
Yes.
Just Irish. I don't know.
Yes,
Tom.
yes. I love it. I love it. So guys, we're unpacking really the entrepreneurial journey here. So I want to thank you guys both for just coming on the show. And I know we try and do these like short sound bites, get people fired up, but today was good for people to really sit back and listen and say, it can be done.
Yep.
Like that's the key. Like what I love about doing these interviews with these crazy entrepreneurs is it just shows over and over again. It can be done.
Yeah.
Different walks of life, different background, different experiences, but fundamentally the same belief, which I can do it.
Yeah. And I think most importantly is that all of the how-to is all right here in the ecosystem.
Right.
Right. The escrow, Jesse Rodriguez, sitting next to him at, I think it was Elite Retreat.
Yeah.
And he was looking at a spreadsheet. I'm like, what are you doing over there, dude?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, so I'm looking at my escrow transactions. I'm like, oh, what does that look like? How much do you make? It's like, oh, look at this. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, Tom told me to do that. I'm like, all right. Went home. I was like, we're starting escrow company.
Right. Tom said Jesse did it. Yeah. Honey, guess what we're doing?
So like everybody who you need is right
in
here.
our community.
And I think
really nice.
right here in the community and the culture that you've created has really allowed everybody to, a rising tide raises the ship. So.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thank you guys for being a part of it. So hashtag the ecosystem.
Yes.
Remember the Elite Retreat? They're like, if he says ecosystem one more time, we all have to take a drink. Do you remember that? Like, I was like, it's the ecosystem. It's the ecosystem. It's all about you guys. Let's go. Right. That was like 2017 and everybody was just like going crazy growth.
Yeah.
But that's what it's about.
But it's been so, I mean, it really is exactly what you said. It's everybody in the ecosystem is willing to help.
Yeah.
And whether that's supporting your business, whether that's answering questions, everybody's in it together, and there's always a really great resource.
Yeah. I appreciate it. All right. So we're out. Make sure you follow these guys and listen always, like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button. Let us know what you want to hear more, and they will be on the YouTube channel somewhere answering questions. So if you're on YouTube or on podcasts, however you're listening to this, make sure you hit them up and say, what about this? What about that? What about that? Keep digging at them. And by the way, they're super fun. All right. So we're out. We'll see you guys soon.